and every weekday, that is from Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. I'll be going live on my YouTube channel to teach on various subjects, on various topics for the ICA May 2020 examination, and by extension ACCA March and June examination. So if you are writing the ICAG May 2020 examination or the ACCA March or June examination, and you are looking for lecture videos, you are looking for assistance, you are looking for answers to some questions that you are having, then you could have to join me live on my YouTube channel, Nhyira Premium. So all you need to do is to click the link below this video, head on to my YouTube channel or above or in my bio, depending on where you are watching this video, and subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe, anytime I go live, you will be able to get a notification and join me for the live broadcast as I explain and answer the questions that you are having. So every single day in the week, from Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. sharp, I'll be going live on YouTube. Now, the most important aspect of this is that I'll be teaching based on the requests that we receive, the questions that we receive from the community, from the students, and from the people who subscribe to our channel and ask us questions. That is how I'll be designing the lectures and what we'll be releasing every single day. Now, in addition to this live broadcast that I'll be holding every day from Monday to Friday at 4 p.m., we will also be releasing new lecture videos on the channel 7:30 a.m. every single day, 7:30 a.m. every single day. So click the link below this video, head on to my YouTube channel, Nhyira Premium, and subscribe to the channel and become part of this family, because every single day you get a lecture video released, and also you get me live to teach and answer any questions that you are having, so that I can assist you and enable you to prepare well for the ICAG May 2020 examination or the ACCA May June examination. So click the link below this video, head on to my YouTube channel, Nhyira Premium, and subscribe to the channel. Remember to share the news with your colleagues and your friends, so together we can help a lot of people. I'll see you during the live broadcast. So we are ending the third week for our preparation towards the ICA May 2020 examination, and we have barely 13 or 14 weeks to go in relation to that. Now, in case you've still not started studying, you've still not started working hard, then you've got to start as soon as possible. For those of you who are waiting for 1 week, 2 weeks to exams to start learning, you need to stop that and start doing something as soon as possible. Now, the Chief Examiner's report has been released for the November 2019 examination. And if you read the report, you will get to know that students are not preparing for the exams, and so they are failing a lot. So make sure you put in the work, make sure you put in the efforts, because that is what will get you the pass that you want and to help you to take your life. So welcome to the special broadcast today on something that is critical that I want to share with you. I believe that it is your heart desire that is on the heart of every student studying and preparing for the examination to be able to pass the examination. But the fact that you are doing something does not mean you are studying, because there is a difference between studying and also just opening book and sitting down and doing something. So today I want to share with you how to study to pass the professional examination, because this is critical. Many students go into the exam hall, or many students register for the exams without being in a position where they understand what they are doing, they understand the subject very well, and they get to the exam hall, they see the questions, they read the question, the requirement sounds familiar, looks familiar, it's like they've heard it before, they've looked at it before, but really they don't have enough information in their memory to recall in order to understand how to do or to answer the question. So today what I want to share with you is some techniques, some strategies that I believe will assist you in order to prepare well for the professional examination. Remember, like I said, it is not just about opening books and sitting down that you are studying, you've got to be conscious about it, you've got to be mindful about it, you've got to create the right environment to be able to prepare and to be able to write the exams and ultimately pass the exam. Hi there, welcome to the broadcast today. Thank you very much for joining the broadcast again today. I'm very much excited that you took the time to join the broadcast. If you're just joining the broadcast, this is the Business Lecturer in Within Show, where I come live every single day from Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. to teach you live and to answer your questions and provide you with the assistance that you need for you to prepare for the ICAG May 2020 examination. And most importantly, not to just prepare for the exam, but ultimately for you to pass the examination. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, you've got to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that every time I go live like this, or when I release new video or upload new videos, you will be the first person to be notified, so you get the assistance, you get the materials needed for you to prepare well for the examination. Remember also to share the channel with your colleagues, share the channel with your friends, tell them about it, share it on Facebook, in your groups, on your WhatsApp platforms, so that we can get as much people as possible, because there are a lot of people who are in need of materials that will assist them to be able to prepare well for the examination. And I know that certainly this channel can be that go-to channel that will be able to provide that assistance, will be able to provide the contents that students need in order for them to prepare well for the examination. Now, the ICAG Ghana, that is the institute, has released the November 2019 examiners reports, and I actually decided to start discussing them from next week, but I'm going to be going through a number of them today to provide you some guidelines, to provide you with some strategies that you must understand in order for you to position yourself for the examination. I tell students this all the time. The Chief Examiner's Report contains a lot of things that students ignore, that if students pay attention to, can help them in order to prepare well for the examination and ultimately in order for them to pass the examination. So in case you have not got a copy yet, go to the ICAG website, scroll down, you will see at the bottom past questions and answers, or questions and answers. Click on that, then you will be taken to the question page, and make sure you get the Chief Examiner's Report and read it for yourself so that you understand what is happening here. Then I have something else that I want to show you today. We just got copies of my new book, Advanced Taxation. This is my new book on advanced taxation. We published this book barely a month ago. So it is based on the new ICAG syllabus, contains various things, everything that you need for you to prepare well for the ICA syllabus. It can be used by both principal of taxation students as well as advanced taxation students, and we have already started the delivery for students who pre-ordered the books prior to it being available here in Ghana. And you can get a copy of the book for 120 Ghana cedis. So you can call or WhatsApp 050-114-9296. 050-114-9296, and you can get a copy of my new book, that is Advanced Taxation, so that it can help you in order for you to prepare well for the exams. In addition to the Advanced Taxation book, I also have my new book here. Also another new book is the Public Sector Accounting and Financial Management. This is also based on the new syllabus. It's 100 cedis. And we just got new copies, published it barely a month ago with the Advanced Taxation book, and you can also get a copy of this as well so that you can prepare well for your examination. Now remember, all my books are written based purely on the ICA syllabus. I don't write my books for the general concepts, the general topic, but I write my books based on the ICA syllabus, and you can get a copy of this as well so that you'll be able to prepare well for the examination. Then my third book, this one was published I think a year ago. If I am, yeah, I think a year ago we published this book on strategic case study. Yeah, this was published a year ago. So on strategic case study. So this is my book on strategic case study. Contains everything that you need, the modules, the concepts, the financial perspectives, and everything you need in order for you to prepare for the ICAG examination. So you can also get a copy of the strategic case study book as well for you to prepare well for your examination. So these are some of my materials that are available here in Ghana, here at the office in Accra, Dakoman, and you can get copies of any copy of this book for their respective amounts, and you can call 050-114-9296 and delivery will be arranged for you so you can get these books and use them to prepare for your examination. That is what you must understand in relation to that. Now, let's get back to the broadcast today. If you are just joining the broadcast, comment below with any questions. Comment below with your experience so far. We began this journey on Monday and we've carried it through to Friday. We will resume on Monday again every single weekday from Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. I go live here on YouTube so that I can provide you with the assistance you need in order for you to prepare well for your examination. So comment below with any questions that you have, any topics that you want me to cover more on this channel, anything that you want me to share more thoughts on. Maybe you have a question about the exams, you have a question about your studies style or your studying approach or whatever it is, you can put it in the comment box and I'll be very much excited to answer your question for you in relation to that. Now, like I mentioned, I wanted to start discussing some of the issues in the ICA November 2019 examination from the Chief Examiner's report that has been released. But to start with that discussion so that I will be able to provide you with the key things that you need, the errors that students are committing so that you will save yourself and not be a victim of that kind of thing. So in a few minutes, I'll be discussing with you the financial reporting. Now, the problem in financial reporting here that I'll be saying actually cut across in all the subjects. So I'm going to go through the Chief Examiner's report, take you through the issues in relation to that, and that will help you to prepare well for your examination. Nomashi Evans, I bought the PSAF book just last week. I didn't know about your book. I would buy it. Oh, okay, that's not a problem. I have books. I've published 13 books so far. Financial reporting, corporate reporting, advanced audit, audit and assurance, financial management, taxation, public sector. I've published 13 books so far, so I have a lot of materials that as well. So like I mentioned, you call 050-114-9296 and we can arrange the delivery of your book for you to get it wherever you are located in Ghana. Once you are on the map, we can find you. All right. So financial reporting, November 2019. Now, how many of you wrote the paper and what was your experience? Maybe you can share your experience with me in the comment box if you wrote financial reporting, or maybe you didn't write financial reporting but you wrote a paper. Maybe you didn't pass or you passed. Whatever it is, you can share your experience with me and with the community here on in the comment box. What did you think? What's your mind about the paper? Did you think it met your expectation? Did you think that, or do you think that you were in a better position for the exam? Do you think that you actually did what you were supposed to do then, if you look back now? So you can comment below and share your experience with me in relation to that, and I'll be very much excited to share in your joy and also share some thoughts with you with some of the challenges that you have. So let's look at the Chief Examiner's reports on the November 2019 financial reporting paper. So Chief Examiner's General comments. The general performance of most students of their candidates, let me take that again. The general performance of most of the candidates was as usual below average. Okay, so Nomashi Ivan said, I wrote FR and MA and by the grace of God I made it. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations, Nomashi Evans. That's a great work you did there. FR and MA, you kick it out. That's very good. And I hope that you are studying and working hard for the May 2020 so that whatever papers you are going to be writing, you'll be able to get it as well in relation to that. Wish you all the best as you join us, and I provide you with the necessary assistance that you need. So, Examiner's General comments. The general performance of most of the candidates was as usual below average. It showed that most of the candidates were not prepared and therefore not ready for the examination. Most of the candidates were not prepared and therefore not ready for the examination. Now, I want you to take this very seriously because this is the Chief Examiner's report. So students, this is what the Chief Examiner felt, that students were not prepared, and not only were they not prepared, they were not ready for the exams. Now, I will get into the deeper aspect of the report in a moment, but many students were not prepared, many students were not ready for the exams. What are the causes of this? I will get into that in a moment. They, however, showed some improvements in their understanding of accounting standards and the double entry principles. So, there is some improvements on the understanding of double entry principles and accounting standards. That is a problem for students writing the financial reporting paper and by extension corporate reporting paper. Candidates with higher understanding of the accounting standards scored higher marks, especially in questions 2 and 5. The orderly and logical presentation of answers continued to be a challenge to most candidates. The orderly and logical presentation of answers continued to be a challenge to most candidates. So, how you arrange professional presentation, how students write, how students organize their work, how students logically present. You are doing question 2, then they will continue with question 3A, then they will continue with question 2B, then question 3C. It's not logical. This is something that the examiner has mentioned, and this has been in the Chief Examiner's report. So if you are preparing and going into May 2020 or any other examination going forward, you must make sure that you order your work. You must start each question on a fresh page. You make sure that you don't answer any question under another question. Let it follow. If it is A, B, C, D, let it follow. If it is B, C, A, D, let it follow. Let us feel the logicity of your presentation, because that makes the marking very easy. And for your information, in the professional examination, there is always something that is called the professional mark, which is awarded to students who present their work professionally, exhibit some high level of understanding in what they are doing, not just for the exams, but as well as what? In practice. So if you want to be a participant who is going to benefit from the professional mark that is awarded, you must make sure that you present your work the way it has to be presented. You must make sure that the work is neatly presented, it is logical, so that an average individual picks it up and can understand that, oh, okay, this is the answer to question 2AI, this is the answer to question 2AII, and we follow. Not to mess it up and intertwine the solution, and it makes everything, not well done. So you've got to make sure that you work on this. Now, I'm going to skip the standard of the paper because that is not my focus. Whether the paper was at standard or not, that one is not my thing. But as Chief Examiner mentioned that the standard of the questions were quite good. So that's what he mentioned, and that is what we go. But let's look at performance of candidates. This is where I want you to make sure you follow me carefully. Performance of candidates. The general performance of candidates was far below average. The general performance of candidates was far below average. About 80% of candidates scored less than 40% of the total marks. About 80% of the candidates scored less than 40% of the total marks. About 80% of the candidates scored less than 40% of the total mark, while a student scored as low as 3%. A student scored as low as 3%. Now, in case you don't understand the statement I just read, it's very critical. So, when you pick all the students who registered and sat for the financial reporting paper, 80% of the students scored less than 40%. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. It means that, for instance, if 1,000 students or candidates sat for the examination, 800 out of the 1,000, look at the number, 800 out of the 1,000 scored less than 40%. Less than 40%, not less than didn't pass, so less than 40%. So 800 out of the 1,000 students scored less than 40%. What does that mean? It means only 200 students scored more than what? 40%. Only 200 students scored more than 40%. Now, does it mean all the 200 students passed? Certainly no. Because it means that the number that passed was actually what? Less. So 80% of candidates scored less than 40% of the marks. And this has been running through for some 3 or 4 examination sittings. This has been the issue. So if you are going into the exams, you must make sure that you prepare for the exams. You must make sure that you study for the exams. You must make sure that you attend lectures, practice a lot of questions, expose yourself outside the ICA past question, spend time to study. Somebody got as low as 3%. As low as 3%. And that is quite some way that you go into an exam hall and you get 3%. Does it mean you didn't prepare? Or does it mean you freaked out in the exam hall? Or the person fell sick in the exam hall? Or what happened? We cannot tell. But if 80% of candidates scored less than 40%, that should cause you to be serious. That should cause you to rethink about everything. That should cause you to re-strategize on how you see this examination. One of the things I hear a lot of students say is that the ICA exams is difficult. No matter how you prepare, you won't pass. It's a lie. The exams is not difficult. ACCA is the same thing. People fail like that. The pass mark for ACCA is not that far from the ICA pass mark. Alright? The average pass mark for ACCA is not that high from the ICA. People fail that as well. ICA people fail. It is not that ICA intentionally fails people, because sometimes that is what students think. No, it is the preparation, because if some people passed and a large chunk of the people failed, that means there is something wrong. So instead of you blaming the ICA, and that is one thing I see a lot of students also doing. When they failed an exam, instead of them sitting down, reflecting, thinking about it, and asking themselves, why did I fail? Maybe I didn't study well. Maybe I didn't do what I have to do. I wasn't serious. It was just 2 weeks to the exams that I started doing something. Even that one, I didn't put in much effort. So it is not ICA. Instead of the people sitting down, reflecting on their behavior, which caused them to fail, they end up rather blaming the ICA. So people say that no matter how you prepare for the CA exams, they will fail you. No, it doesn't happen that way. That does not happen. It doesn't happen. So if you are going to go into the ICA examination, Put it at the back of your mind. You have to prepare for the exams. Now, even though I'm reading financial reporting, this performance actually cut across a lot of the subjects. Strategic case study, it was abysmal performance. That was the examiner's words. So if you are going into the exams and you are going to prepare for the exams, before you enter the exam hall, make sure you are ready for the exams. That is why I keep on saying, irrespective of how busy you are, schedule some time, block some time out where it is only you with your books, with your materials, and you are studying. Never go into the exam hall unprepared. That is the issue. That is the issue. So if you are going to pass your exams, don't sit down, wait 2 weeks to the exams and start being serious. It doesn't work that way, my friend. It doesn't work that way. So think about it carefully. If 80% of the students scored less than 40%, it tells you students were not prepared. And like I read it from here, you realize that students were not prepared. Now look at the continuous statement that the examiner made. The poor performance could be attributed to inadequate preparation by the candidates or the standard of understanding achieved in their previous levels of studies. The poor performance could be attributed to inadequate preparation by candidates. Inadequate preparation. If you don't prepare for the exams, you are preparing to fail the exam. Simple. Simple. That is why I am of the view that you have to attend lectures. You can't do this on your own. It is not all of us who is carved out to be able to sit down, discipline, and study on our own to pass a professional examination. It's not everybody. Some of us, we can do it. Some people are carved out for it, but others, they need a guide. Others, they need a roadmap. Others, they need somebody to look at them. Others, they need some people to guide them. Others, they need a community. They need people. So as somebody says this, that is how they learn. So don't go into the exam hall unprepared, my friend. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because if you do that, you are actually exposing yourself to a lot of heartbreaks. It's not comfortable. I'm not excited when I read these examiner's reports. Every time when the examiner's reports comes out and I see it, it's not something that I like to read, because all the time there is something in there that is not exciting. It's not exciting. So if you are going to prepare for the ICAG examination, you've got to make sure that you prepare well. You've got to make sure that you make some time to study. You've got to make sure that you are disciplined, and also you make available whatever there is that you must do in order for you to prepare for your examination. In case you just joined the broadcast, we are looking at the financial reporting, the chief examiner's report, and I'm discussing with you a couple of thoughts that I think you must undertake in relation to that. Now, so that is general performance of candidates. 80% scored less than 40%, and a candidate scored as low as 3%. Now, let's look at the notable strengths and weaknesses of candidates. Notable strengths and weaknesses of candidates. 1. Candidates who prepared adequately and were ready for the examination scored above 50% of the total marks. Did you hear that? So candidates who were prepared, candidates who were ready, scored above what? 50%. What it means is that the 80% of the students who scored less than 40% did not prepare adequately and were not ready for the exam. Simple. The 80% who scored less than 40% did not prepare adequately for the exams and were not ready for the exams. It's simple. Because the people who prepared, the people who were ready, they passed. Why do you think somebody passed and you failed? Like Namashi Evans wrote MA and FR and he passed. You think he passed because ICA loves him? No. He didn't pass because ICA loved him. He passed because he prepared himself and he was ready for the exam. That is what you have to do. If you are going into the exam, irrespective of the subject you are writing, you've got to prepare. You've got to be ready for the exam. There are some of you are waiting. I know. You are waiting. 2 weeks to the exams. 1 week to the exams. Then you start being serious. Listen, you are wasting time. You are buying pressure for yourself. You just want to kill yourself before your time. Because some of you are emotionally connected with the subject, with the exam so much so that when you write the exams and it doesn't go well, you know it doesn't go well. And when the results come and it doesn't go well, you freak out. But it's not supposed to be so. It is not supposed to be so. So students who prepared and were ready for the exams passed the exams. But the students who did not prepare and were not ready for the exams, they failed. And the majority of the people who failed, very, very numerous. Second, the candidate's strengths were in the preparation of the consolidated income statement in question 1, standards in question 2, 5, and ratio analysis in question 4. These are areas which any serious candidate would not like to ignore while preparing for the exams. So if you are a serious candidate, if you are a serious student preparing for financial reporting, you know ratios is constant, is going to be there. You know standards is constant, is going to be there. You know consolidation is standard, is going to be there. So if you are a serious student, you are going to prepare yourself and be ready for the exams in those areas, because these are the areas that will enable you to pass the exams. So listen to me carefully. If you are going into the examination, the May 2020 or whatever examination that you are going to, depending on when you are watching the playback of this live broadcast, you have to be prepared for the exams, period. You have to be prepared for the exams. If you prepare for the exams, you will pass. But if you don't prepare for the exam, then you will fail. The next thing, suggested areas in which such strengths can be enhanced include international financial reporting standards and notes and adjustments in financial statements. So, as a financial reporting student, you need to understand what? The accounting standards. That's my proponent. That is my principle. If you are writing financial reporting, accounting standards is key. You must understand all the standards. Then you come to the preparation of single entity financial statements. Then you come to consolidated financial statement. Then you come to interpretation of financial statement. Then you can discuss other theory issues like ethics, like conceptual framework and regulatory framework. This is the examiner's report, and he is suggesting to students that they must improve their understanding on what? The accounting standards. Very critical. Very critical. If 1,000 people write exam and 800 of the 1,000 scored less than 40%, it should tell you that there is a problem. Not necessarily with the system, but with the people, certainly. And the examiner is saying that students who prepared and were ready for the exam scored above 50. It means that students who did not prepare and were not ready for the exam scored less than 50, and so they failed the exams. So as you prepare yourself to go into May 2020, as you prepare yourself to write your exams, be prepared and be ready. And I tell students, never pay the ICAG examination fee if you did not pay anything for tuition. If you did not spend time to study. If you don't spend time to study, don't waste money. I don't know, sometimes some people say, oh, I'm writing to see if I'll pass. So the exam has turned into lottery. That you go and buy the lottery ticket, go and sit down in the house for you to win. It doesn't work that way. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the effort, because whatever you produce on the exam paper is what will be marked. That is why someone scored as low as 3% of the 100%. And it is serious. It is critical. Next thing. The general weaknesses shown were in respect of either lack of preparation or poor background of most of the candidates. Lack of preparation or poor background of most of the candidates. So the weaknesses that the examiner is talking about here, I've already mentioned it over and over again. Lack of preparation of students, and then the poor background of most of the candidates. Now, when the examiner says poor background here, it means your understanding of the subject. Okay, so maybe you were exempted from financial accounting in level 1. So when it comes to level 2, financial reporting, there are a couple of things that you need to understand, and if you don't understand them well, it will not help you to be able to prepare well for your examination. I see some comments. I'm going to read them. Let me see. Amponsa Augustine, fantastic one. Thank you, Amponsa. Mohammed Nazib Suleimana. I want to buy your PSA book, but I am in Tamale. How do I get it? Mohammed, we can arrange delivery of the book. Okay, we can arrange delivery of the book for you to get. All you will do is to call 050-114-9296, 050-114-9296. Let me put it in the comment box, 050-114-9296. 050-114-9296, yeah? So all you do is to call the number, and after you make a payment, a delivery will be arranged for you. We've done delivery for people, and we are still in the process of doing delivery. This is the book, the public sector book. We've done delivery, and we are still on delivery. For those of you writing advanced taxation also, I have the book on advanced taxation. Very new book that we published barely a month ago, and you could get a copy of that as well. Then my strategic case study book as well for level 3 students, strategic case study, that is also available, and you could get that as well. All right, so you've got to prepare for the exams. Then the examiner also mentioned, so let me take that line again. It says, the general weakness shown were in respect of either lack of preparation or poor background of most of the candidates, resulting in the inability to understand the additional information in respect of what? Question 3. So question 3 was on single entity financial statement. Okay, that is when you are preparing the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. And the footnote there, that question was quite packed, because it has a lot of things in there and plays a lot on the accounting standards and some basic concepts that if you are not careful, you don't have in-depth understanding of the accounting standards and financial reporting in general, you will not be able to solve that question very well. So that is what the examiner mentioned in respect of that. Then the weaknesses were widespread, as could be seen in the general performance. So that is also a statement there. The reason for the weaknesses shown were in respect of lack of preparation and the basic foundational knowledge for most of the candidates entering the examination at this level. Like what I mentioned earlier, many people writing the financial reporting are coming with first degree, okay, or maybe HND. So they were exempted, but they did not really do accounting or financial reporting the way it is supposed to be done. So when they get to level 2 financial reporting, they sort of freak out because it's like a new thing. They are starting all over again, and depending on the lecture you go or you attend, they may not explain the foundations of the subject well for you to build up with the level 2 requirements in relation to that. So this is what the examiner mentioned. These are some thoughts that the examiner has shared in relation to students' performance on the ICAG examination, and it is something that is critical in relation to that. So what are we saying in conclusion? What we are saying in conclusion is this. If you are going to sit for the ICA examination, financial reporting, and you don't want to be part of the 80% of the people who scored less than 40%, you've got to be prepared and you have to be ready for the exams. You've got to be prepared and you have to be ready for the exams. This is very critical. It's non-negotiable. Okay? You cannot substitute anything for it. It is something that you have to do in relation to that. That is how you get your way into becoming who you need to become. So this is what I want to share with you on the Chief Examiner's report. Now finally, let me share with you quickly on the Chief Examiner's report on each of the questions that students answered. So the question 1 was on consolidated or consolidation, okay? So examiner's report, examiner's comment. The approach to this section on consolidation of the statement of financial position was straightforward, and most candidates performed creditably well, and a few scored the maximum marks. Most candidates were able to determine the group structure, goodwill on acquisition, and the non-controlling interest. A few, however, could not compute the unrealized profit on the closing inventory. So provision for unrealized profit on closing inventory, some people were not able to compute it well in relation to that. But in general, consolidation is always going to be in the question for financial reporting students. Then question 2, like I mentioned, was the packed question. And the examiner has a lot of comments on the question 2. Can you imagine that? The comments on the question 2, maybe you cannot see this, but the comments on the question 2 really quite long, and let's see, quite detailed as well. Let me see what is there. So examiner's report on the question 2. Most of the candidates applied their understanding on the issues raised in the various IFRS statements given. Candidates who perform poorly either did not understand the requirements or lack the basic knowledge of the standards. This resulted in the loss of vital mark. A few of the candidates never attempted the question. So some people didn't even attempt the single entity question. A. There was a problem with the interpretation of the question, as most candidates interpreted the debit balance on the tax account as overpayment instead of over provision. This led most candidates to lose vital mark. Now, taxation is a liability and is supposed to keep what? A debit balance. Now, if your tax account has, it's supposed to keep a credit balance. If the tax account is showing a debit balance, that means that is what? A deferred tax asset. That is an over provision of tax. This is IAS 12. Make sure that if you are writing financial reporting, you watch my video on IAS 12. It's in this playlist called Accounting Standard Series, and you can find it there. Next, most of the candidates were able to calculate the amounts to be recognized, but could not present them in the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended. So the footnote 2, students were not able to work on it. C. This question was a test on the application of IFRS 16 on leases. Only few candidates were able to calculate and present the accounting entries for the year ended 31st July 2019. Most candidates could not show the various balances under non-current assets, non-current liabilities, and current liabilities. Similarly, candidates could not show separately the operating costs, depreciation, and finance costs in the statement of profit or loss. Now, one of the standards that is critical is IFRS 16. That is the new standard on leases. Okay, IFRS 16, the new standard on leases. So what happens, or what is with that standard, is that it's a standard that is replacing the IAS 17, and somebody recommended that or mentioned that I should teach this standard live because I don't have a video on it on my channel. So I'll be teaching IFRS 16 one of these days, so make sure that you keep joining the live broadcast to discuss the various issues you must understand. D. Most of the candidates were able to differentiate between adjusting and non-adjusting events and their treatment. So D was on IAS 10. Okay, events after the reporting period. So you remember what I mentioned? When it comes to the financial reporting, it is based on your understanding of the accounting standards. If you don't understand accounting standards, you can't answer the question on standards. If you don't understand accounting standards, you can't answer the questions on a single entity. Like as you can see here, every note, every footnote in the single entity, that is the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income and the statement of financial position, are all standards related. The first question was on IAS 12, income tax. The second note was on inventory, IAS 2. The third note was on leases, IFRS 16. The next note is on IAS 10, events after the reporting period. So you realize that it is the standards that is being illustrated, and it is the understanding we have on the standards that enable us to be able to prepare the financial statements. This is what you must understand, and this is how the examiner is going to be setting your questions for you. And then the last thing there is that only few candidates attempted this question and provided the principles behind the accounting treatment for leases as required under IFRS 16. So you realize that in that question there, let me go up a bit to the question. In the question there, you are having 5 notes. 5 notes. And the notes there are on leases, inventory, and IAS 16 is a regular customer all the time for single entity. So IAS 16, property, plant and equipment, income tax, IAS 12, leases was there, IAS 10, events after the reporting period, IAS 2, the issue about what? Inventory. All of this are critical. So if you don't understand these standards, the question is, how do you position yourself to pass the examination? Right, so question 3. The comment was, the approach of the preparation of the statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, no candidate scored 50% of the total marks. Only a few candidates treated the production cost in the cost of sales. The handling of all the additional information was a challenge to almost all the candidates. So that is it. So out of the 20 marks, students, no candidate got 10. So 8, 7, 3, 2, 1, that kind of thing in relation to that. Question 4 is on ratios. One of the areas that students take for granted a lot. And as I say all the time, ratios is not about computation. You can calculate the ratios, but it is the interpretation that determines what you must do. So interpretation of the ratios is very, very critical, and that is what will enable you to be able to understand what you're doing well. So ratios. Listen, this is the examiner's comment. The computation of the ratios was satisfactorily done, except that few candidates could not calculate the inventory turnover and the interest end ratio. Also, there were situations candidates could not explain the performance in relation to the computation and the trend from 2017 to 2018. So that is the thing. That is where the issue about the interpretation comes in. So if Rosie for this year is 25% and Rosie for last year was 30%, how do you explain that? What students will say is that if last year it was 30 and this year it is 25, the ratio has fallen by 5%. You are a liar. You are a liar. That's not how we do the interpretation of financial statements. So That is also something that, if requested, I'll be covering on my channel during our broadcast session. Then the limitations of accounting ratios was well handled. Question 5 is an area I call the no man's land area, because the question 5 contains a lot of things that students must look out for in relation to that. Now, what is the conclusion of the examiner on financial reporting November 2019? And then what is the way forward that the examiner suggests? Listen to what the examiner said. There was enough evidence to show that candidates understood what was required. A few candidates presented wrong or contrary answers mainly because they did not know the expected answers, which reflected in their poor performance. So this is the conclusion of the examiner. Then what is the way forward? What is the way forward? So let's get a way forward. What the examiner is suggesting that you should do and the candidate should do. As previously recommended, we wish to reiterate the points as follows. 1. The level of appreciation of candidates sitting for the exams at this level appear to be on the decline, hence the poor performance in the subject. Okay, so the level of appreciation of candidates sitting for the exams is declining. That's a serious comment, man. It's a serious comment, and you've got to step up your game, man. If you're going to go into the exams, you've got to step up your game. That is very critical. Next, candidates are therefore advised not to take the examination for granted. Don't take the ICAG exams for granted, because some of you take the exams for granted. Because some of you are not learning now. Now that we've done 3 weeks so far in the exam, in the preparation, you are not learning. You will sit down 2 weeks to the exams, 1 week to the exams, then you start learning. When you do that, you are taking the exams for granted. And when you take the exam for granted, you will be punished. And the punishment will be that you fail the exams. But that is not why I am holding this live broadcast. I want to assist you so you pass the exam. But then, no matter what I do to assist you, no matter the content I make available, if you don't sit down by yourself to study, to solve questions, you cannot pass the exams. If you don't sit down to study, to solve questions, you cannot pass the exams. That's critical. That is critical. Finally, candidates are advised to reference questions continued on a different page after other questions have been answered. This is to avoid makers or makers of the particular questions not to miss the continuation at a latter page of the answer book. Now, this is what it means. It means that the examiner is saying that candidates are advised to reference questions continued on a different page after other questions have been answered. This is to avoid markers of a particular question not to miss the continuation at a later page of the answer book. So what it literally means is that there are markers who mark different questions. Okay, so possibly some people mark question 1, somebody will mark question 2, something like that. So when you are presenting, that is why logicity is very important. The logical and professional presentation of your work is very important, so that the markers can reference very well what you are doing and they can mark respectively. Because if they see the first page and that is all it is, but maybe you did a work as well in another page, he has finished his work, he will pass it on to somebody else, and you may be affected in relation to that. So these are what you need to understand when we talk about financial reporting for the ICAG November 2019 examination. What are we taking out of this discussion today? Number 1, students are not prepared and ready for the exams. So if you are going into the exams, be prepared and be ready for the exams. Number 2, the unpreparedness and unreadiness of students cause 80% of the students to score less than 40% of the marks. So if you don't want to be in that position, then be ready and be prepared for the exams. Number 3, presentation and logical arrangement of your solutions is critical. Work on your handwriting, work on your presentation. Very, very important. Then another thing that I'm going to be adding is time management. Because there are some of you, it is not that you don't know. You know, but before you know it, they say, get ready to stop work. And you have answered only 2 questions, or maybe only 3 questions. So you must work yourself with time. That is why I suggest that you practice a lot of questions. So when you are solving the question, you time yourself. Okay? If you are solving the question, you time yourself. So if the question is 10 marks, you know that you spread it out. You are supposed to use somewhere around 18 minutes for a 10-mark question, because a 20-mark question is 36 minutes. So you are supposed to use around 18 minutes for a 10-mark question. That is how you do. So you use a stop clock. Once you do it, if the time is up, you stop working, and then you look at what you have done. So because you must work with speed and accuracy if you are going to pass the examination. So friends, this is what you have to understand about the financial reporting paper. My objective is this, that you prepare and you pass the exams. I tell students all the time, the ICAG exams is not difficult. No professional examination is difficult. However, it becomes difficult if you don't prepare for it. And that happens in everything. If you attend an interview or you go for an interview and you're not prepared for the interview, you say a lot of things you're not supposed to say. They ask you questions, then you are talking anyhow. And that will make you to lose the job. That is it. That is it. Even if you are proposing to somebody you love, you should be able to say the thing that you are saying well. You should be confident in what you are saying. And that will be able to make the person trust you that, okay, I can trust you. I know what he's saying is true. Yes, I can marry you. I can be with you. You got to be able to be prepared. So you have to be prepared to even propose for your proposal to be accepted. How about ICAG? You don't want to prepare. You want to get up 2 weeks and pass the exams. Darby, it doesn't work that way, my friend. So please, work hard on yourself. I know that if you put in the effort, you put in the work, you put in the sacrifice, with my mentorship here on my YouTube channel, and for those of you who enroll or who are enrolled in my course online or attend our lectures here, I know that all of these will help you to be able to understand and appreciate the paper well, so you can prepare well for the examination. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment box. I will answer them for you. This is the business lecturer in Within Show, where I come on every weekday from Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. to teach on various subjects, on various topics. But I designed this.
This is the Millionaire Booklet, How to Get Super Rich. My name's Grant.
Students raise or questions that students ask. So I'll be very much excited. If there are any questions that you have or anything that you want to inquire about, you can call the number in the comment or in the chat box 050-114-9296, and you will be replied to, and whatever query that you have, we'll be able to help you. We'll be able to provide you with assistance you need so you can prepare well for the examination. Again, 2 of my new books are out now in Ghana, all right? You can get them on Amazon, but they are now in Ghana. Advanced Taxation, available now in Ghana. We are doing delivery for students who pre-ordered the books. Wherever you are located, you can request for it and we do delivery for you. This book can be used both by students writing Principle of Taxation in Level 2 and then Advanced Taxation in Level 3, because we condense everything. And remember, my books are written based on the ICAG syllabus. I don't write for the community. I don't write for the student's body. I don't write for the entire subject. I write based on the ICAG syllabus. So whatever you find here is what is required in the new ICA syllabus, which is effective from November 2019 and moving forward. Then also the second book is the Public Sector Accounting and Finance. The tax is 120, the public sector is 100 cedis. You can call 050-114-9296 and you can grab copies of these books so you can prepare well for your examination. The third one is the Strategic Case Study book. This is also a book that I published last year. Strategic Case Study. So this is level 3 students. Contains everything that you need in order for you to prepare well for your strategic case study examination. So again, you can call 050-114-9296 and we can arrange delivery wherever you are located. As far as you are on the Ghana map, we will find you in that case. So thank you very much for joining the broadcast today. You can comment below with any of your questions. I read all the comments and I reply to all the comments. I will see you again on Monday, 4 p.m. as we continue with our broadcast for the journey towards the ICA May 2020 examination and beyond. Remember, subscribe to the channel, share the channel with your friends on Facebook, on WhatsApp, tell people about it, and let's together help as much students as possible. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend and take care of yourself. Stay blessed. Whew.